This $5 blue barrel makes free gas all year. Gas companies have buried this for decades. Benjamin Stoltzfus carried a 5-gallon bucket of kitchen scraps out to his backyard in Gordonville, Lancaster County on a cold Tuesday morning in November. He poured it into a blue 55-gallon barrel half buried in the hillside. By afternoon, the flame on his kitchen stove burned steady and blue. He paid nothing for it. He burned his food waste instead of throwing it away. The global natural gas market was valued at $1.2 trillion in 2024. Not $1 of that came from Benjamin's kitchen. More than 42 million households in rural China run their kitchens from barrels like this one buried in the earth. More than 5 million homes in India do the same thing. They have been doing it for over 90 years. The Assyrians used this gas to heat their bathwater in the year 1000 BC. That is 3,025 years before your gas utility sent its first invoice. One cow produces enough manure each day to generate 85 cubic feet of biogas. That is 3 full hours of cooking flame every single day. A single 5-gallon bucket of kitchen scraps fed into a properly built barrel produces 45 to 60 minutes of cooking gas before sunset. Alessandro Volta, who invented the electrical battery, proved in 1776 that there is a direct mathematical relationship between the amount of decaying organic matter and the amount of flammable gas produced. That knowledge is 249 years old. It cannot be metered. It cannot be piplined into your home at a monthly rate. It cannot generate a recurring invoice for a gas company. Therefore, you were never taught it. Stay close, because the science, the history, and the $40 barrel that your family can build this weekend is what this video is about. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss what we share. Now let us talk plainly about the science, because this is not complicated. Bacteria do all the work. You just give them the right conditions. When organic matter decays in the absence of oxygen, a category of ancient microorganisms called methanogens produce methane gas as a natural byproduct. Methane is the same molecule that makes up 97% of the natural gas in your utility pipeline. The chemistry is identical. The source is different. The process is called anaerobic digestion. Anaerobic means without air. The microbes that perform it are the oldest multicellular organisms on Earth. They have been generating methane in swamps, in the digestive tracts of animals, and in the soil beneath your feet since before any other life existed. A properly sealed barrel creates the oxygen-free environment these bacteria need. You feed them organic material, they digest it, they produce methane and carbon dioxide. The methane rises, collects at the top of the barrel, and can be piped directly to a standard gas burner. Penn State University Extension published detailed guidance on microscale biogas production for American homesteaders. Their research confirmed what the Chinese and Indian programs had documented for decades. Freshly cut grass clippings produce approximately 1.5 cubic feet of biogas per pound. Food waste produces slightly more. Cow manure produces less per pound, but is available in enormous daily quantities. One cow's daily output of 140 pounds of manure can generate an average of 85 cubic feet of biogas. That is enough to cook every meal for a family of 4. The temperature inside your digester determines how fast the bacteria work. The sweet range is 90 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is roughly human body temperature. This is not accidental. These are the same bacteria that live in mammalian digestive systems. Wrap your barrel in dark plastic sheeting or bury it in a south-facing hillside, and the sun will maintain working temperature through most of the year without any additional heat source. At temperatures below 60 degrees Fahrenheit, production slows significantly. Therefore, northern states should insulate their digester or plan to use it most actively between April and October. Southern states run year-round with little modification. But what the ancient world knew about this, and what the American gas industry quietly ensured you would not know, deserves a plain and careful telling. The Assyrians of ancient Mesopotamia, in the region of what is now Iraq and Syria, heated their bathwater using gas captured from decomposing organic matter. This was the year 1000 BC, 3,000 years before Thomas Edison lit his first bulb. The practice of capturing gas from decomposing matter was recorded in Chinese texts dating back 2,000 to 3,000 years. Marco Polo, traveling through Asia in the 13th century, described covered sewage ponds that captured flammable gas. In 1630, a Flemish scientist named Jan Baptist van Helmont recorded the first European scientific observation that decaying organic matter produces a flammable gas. In 1776, Count Alessandro Volta, the man who would later invent the electrical battery, proved a precise mathematical relationship between the volume of decaying matter and the volume of gas produced. He sealed organic material in containers, measured the output, and confirmed the chemistry. In 1808, Sir Humphrey Davy determined that the flammable gas produced by the anaerobic digestion of cattle manure was specifically methane. No, the science was therefore fully documented 180 years before most American families had heard the phrase biogas. The first formal digestion plant was built at a leper colony in Bombay, India in 1859. In 1895, a sewage treatment facility in Exeter, England, began capturing biogas from its process and using it to fuel the city's street lamps. The street lamps of Exeter burned for free on the waste the city would have discarded anyway. During both World War I and World War II, buses in Europe ran on biogas bladders mounted on their rooftops when fossil fuels became scarce. The technology worked during wartime necessity. Then petroleum prices dropped, and it was quietly set aside. In 1903, China began large-scale biogas research. By 1958, Chinese households had their first biogas tanks. By 1970, China had installed 6 million household digesters as a national program to address rural energy shortages. By 2023, more than 30 million rural Chinese households were cooking with gas they made from their own food waste and animal manure. Not 30,000, 30 million. The Indian government runs a program that, by their own count, has installed 4.31 million family biogas plants across the country. Households in rural Punjab pipe cooking gas to their neighbors at a cost of 200 rupees per month. An LPG cylinder from the gas company costs 700 rupees. Nepal, Bangladesh, Rwanda, Kenya, and dozens of other countries run active programs placing barrel and dome digesters in rural homes. The gas lights the lamp. The residue from the process goes directly back into the soil as fertilizer. The family needs neither the gas company nor the fertilizer company. For decades in America, neither your school, your utility company, nor your hardware store told you this was possible. This is just the beginning of what we have gathered here. Inside our community guide, you will find hand-drawn diagrams for building a functioning 55-gallon barrel digester, a plain step-by-step for connecting your gas outlet to a standard kitchen burner, a seasonal calendar for feeding schedules and temperature management by climate zone, a guide to combining food scraps and animal manure for maximum year-round output, and a detailed look at the digestate, the nutrient-rich slurry that comes out the other end, and how your garden can use it. The link is in the description, but stay, because what the gas companies built on top of this knowledge and the numbers behind that structure deserve to be heard plainly. The global natural gas market was valued at $1,210 billion in 2024. It is projected to reach $2,300 billion by 2033. The United States consumed 32.5 trillion cubic feet of natural gas in 2023, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. At the average residential price of $14.57 per thousand cubic feet as of early 2025, The American household pays roughly $955 per year just for its residential gas bill. That average gas bill runs between $79 and $80 per month. Over a 30-year mortgage, that is $28,000 paid to a gas company for fuel that your kitchen waste can produce for free. Now think about what a gas utility requires to deliver you that fuel. They need pipelines, they need compressor stations, they need metering infrastructure, they need billing systems, they need the regulatory structure that keeps competitors off their lines and keeps your family connected to them rather than to a barrel in the backyard. You cannot build a $1.2 trillion global industry around a 55-gallon barrel and a 5-gallon bucket of kitchen scraps. You cannot send a monthly invoice to a family that burns its own waste. You cannot run a pipeline to capture the gas from 40 million Chinese households because those households already captured it themselves. Therefore, the knowledge stays in foreign country reports and university extension bulletins. Therefore, the gas meter stays on your wall. Therefore, every morning you cook breakfast on fuel that your waste would produce without you spending a cent. There is no law in the United States against building a home biodigester. There is no regulation prohibiting the production of methane from organic material on your own property. What exists instead is 60 years of uninterrupted cultural silence about a technology that 42 million Chinese families have been using since before you were born. Now stand inside that silence for a moment. It is November. The air is cold enough that your breath makes a small cloud. Benjamin walks across the frost-tipped grass to the barrel in the hillside. He lifts the lid of the feed tube and pours in last night's table scraps. The barrel holds the warmth of summer soil. Inside, in complete darkness, bacteria that have been working since the Assyrians' time are doing what they always do. By afternoon, his wife will turn the burner knob, hear the small tick of the igniter, and the flame will rise blue and even. The smell of cooking will fill that kitchen without a single cubic foot of billed gas touching that stove. That is not a story about technology. That is a story about something that was known and then made invisible. Now, I want to be plain with you about what a barrel digester does and does not do. A single 55-gallon barrel digester is not a replacement for all the natural gas your home uses. It will not heat your house in January. What it will do in the warm months with consistent feeding is produce enough gas for 1 to 2 hours of cooking per day. For a family that cooks with gas, that covers most of your stove use from April through October. For northern states, the digester must be insulated or brought into a basement space during winter to maintain temperatures above 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Below that temperature, production drops to near nothing. Plan around your climate. The gas produced contains some hydrogen sulfide, which is the same compound that gives it a slight smell. A simple steel wool filter on your gas outlet line removes the hydrogen sulfide before the gas reaches your stove. This costs $1.20 in steel wool and a short section of pipe, and you need consistent feedstock. A barrel digester that goes unfed for 2 weeks will slow dramatically. Think of it like a garden. It needs tending. Here is how to build the core system. Find a blue 55-gallon food-grade HDPE barrel. These run between $5 and $25, used at farm supply stores, barrel recyclers, and rural auction sites. In Lancaster County, the Amish communities pass these around freely when the pickle or juice they once held is done. Drill 2 openings in the barrel. One is the feed port at the top with a tight-fitting lid to accept your daily kitchen scraps and water. The second is a gas outlet at the very top of the barrel, which connects to a short run of flexible hose leading to your gas collection point. N. Add a third opening near the bottom as an overflow valve for the liquid digestate slurry, which exits as new material enters. This liquid goes directly onto the garden. It is richer in nitrogen than most commercial fertilizers. Fill the barrel to 60% capacity with your starter material. If you have animal manure, use it. The methanogens already living in animal gut bacteria will colonize your system without any additional inoculum. If you have only kitchen scraps, add a small amount of commercial septic starter powder to introduce the right bacteria. Both options cost less than $3. Dilute your feedstock with water to achieve a slurry consistency, like a thin soup. The ideal solid content is 2 to 10%, which means your mixture is 90 to 98% liquid. This allows the bacteria to move freely through the material and maximizes contact with the organic matter. Seal every fitting with food-grade silicone caulk and test for leaks by filling the barrel with water and watching for bubbles at every joint while the fittings are under pressure. Any leak will reduce gas output. Position the barrel in the most sun-facing location available, south-facing if possible, and wrap it in dark plastic sheeting or foam board insulation to retain warmth through cool nights. A family near Fredericksburg, Ohio, built this system in a single Saturday using a barrel from a local pickle processor, 2 lengths of flexible gas hose, and $41 in total materials. By the following Tuesday, they had their first gas flame. From May through September, they have not used a single therm of utility gas for cooking. Their monthly gas bill over those 5 months averages $11 instead of $79. Over 4 consecutive summers, that $41 barrel has saved them $272 in gas bills. A commercially available home biodigester unit performing the same function costs between $500 and $2,000. The chemistry inside it is identical to Benjamin's $5 barrel. The Assyrians heated their bathwater with this gas in the year 1000 BC. Exeter lit its streets with it in 1895. China installed 6 million of these systems by 1970, and 30 million households use them today. The Indian government has placed 4.31 million of them in rural homes. Alessandro Volta described the chemistry 249 years ago. Your gas company sends the bill every month. Your kitchen makes the gas every day. Now, your family knows what 47 million households in Asia have known for generations. Share this with someone still throwing kitchen scraps in the trash and paying the gas bill every month. Every share returns this knowledge to the hands it always belonged in. Next week, we will show you what the same communities did with the digestate slurry from these barrels. They grew crops that modern agronomists still cannot fully explain with their fertilizer models. The soil biology behind it is 2,000 years old, and it is still working. We will see you there.